What the FUD? Let's talk about Bitcoin going down, ETH going down, altcoins going down, some altcoins on a huge discount, and some maybe a little less. What shall we do with it? I mean, it's almost October, right? October, post half year, cycle's over, alt season didn't happen. Maybe just get out. Maybe. Let me tell you what I think. Okay, so welcome to the FOMO Factory. Like the video, would help me a lot, would help yourself a lot. Subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. It's early in the morning. I got a stomach flu, but I felt like, let me get to the office, talk about it, maybe puke on cam a little bit, and just go over what I think is now wise to do. So, Bitcoin, $109,000. Okay, cool. So, I saw a lot of people saying, like, hey, there is a huge correction going on right now, and it's just then final, the final dip. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? The final dip. Look, the crypto market is in a clear uptrend, right? And in an uptrend, you get a lot of dips. People here said, whoa, big dip, right? Here, big dip, big dip. However, in the meantime, if you ignore all these small corrections, we went from here to here. So when I look at Bitcoin, purely PA, right, price action, I cannot find anything that's really concerning me at this moment. Also, very simple why I think that the top for Bitcoin is not in yet, because not a single top indicator has flashed, right? And let's be fair, in the last bull market, they were all pretty much a little off as well because they flashed in April and not in November. So, okay, cool, but not a single indicator has flashed, right? And there are like 50, but not a single one. And the cool thing is not even close as well, right? If you look at one of these indicators, for example, we have one on Blockchain Decoded, the platform coming live soon. But here you can see the Pi cycle top area, for example. And it's not just the Pi cycle top indicator where the two moving averages cross, right? And that suggests, hey, Pi cycle top. And usually the top is then in, or at least close to being in. But this is more like if they cross and they cross again, that opens some kind of a distribution area, and that's where you really want to sell, right? Based on full history so far, at least. However, now these two moving averages, it's like night and day. They are not even close to each other. They are like further from each other than the bear market bottom almost, right? So it could be that, this time every indicator is wrong. Or the top is just simply not in yet, right? It could be. Now, why? Then why? How come, right? Is it different this time? Well, if the top is far from in, then it could mean that the top will be in much later, in 2026 maybe. And maybe that's because, crypto does follow the whole business cycle. And yeah, that's been moved to the right. So maybe crypto will be moved to the right as well. Could be, right? Could also be that we get a really, really, really explosive Q4. And that will make all the top indicators flash. And in that case, yeah, nothing is really different. It could still be. It's still on my bingo card. Like, I don't know, but I keep it in mind, right? Because if you, for example, want these two moving averages to cross, right, or you want another, top indicator to flash, then Bitcoin has to rally really hard right now. Really hard in a short period of time. Yeah, have we not been seeing that in this cycle, right? We have moments where Bitcoin went from 67K to 108 in a couple weeks, right? So the market so far showed us like, hey, yeah, but that's what we do, right? It could be. But also why I think that the top is not in yet is we don't have that blow-off top, right? We don't have that clear, like Bitcoin is now in a really safe and steady uptrend, right? It's nothing too parabolic that makes you feel like, wow, this is not sustainable. And we go up, we go down, sideways, up, down, side. Bitcoin is just creeping up like that. And there is not a moment in the market where you might feel like, whoa, this is fucking nuts. I need to get out now, right? So if that's not going to happen, then how can the top be in? My opinion, right? I could be completely wrong about this, definitely, but I just don't see it yet. Now, when it comes to the rest of the market, look, in these last couple weeks, right? It's not even like in the last mostly 2 weeks, actually, but especially this week, Bitcoin is down 5%, right? Yeah, it's not like that bad. It feels bad because it goes from 115 to 109. So we are down with 6K, right? But 6K compared to a 115K Bitcoin is not much. It's not much, right? If you look right here, for example, this candle went from $29,000 to 25. It doesn't sound that bad, but it was twice as bad. You know, so there's a little psychology behind it as well, I think. However, if we look at, well, Ethereum, for example, right now, what's the deal with ETH? ETH now is down with 9.5%, right? So ETH is down a little more, and the low cap altcoin market is down 6%, and the total altcoin market is down with 8%, right? So it's funny that the low caps are actually down less, but they're down pretty much just as much as Bitcoin, right? Why is that? Because it isn't Bitcoin season anymore. We talked about this before. The Bitcoin dominance had a huge run, right? This whole cycle, just like the last cycle, right? Huge run, the whole cycle, basically from January 2018 until January 2021, it was 3 years, was Bitcoin only, basically, right? And now we saw kind of the same thing, right? Where Bitcoin was just running from August 2022 until, July, August, right? 2025, right? 3 years. And now the Bitcoin dominance reversed, right? In my opinion, look, I said before, like, I think it could get to 60%, but the more time it takes, the harder it will be to get there, because the moving averages, like the bull market support band, 50 weekly moving average, they will also come down. And that's the main resistance, right? So if we stay here for a couple weeks, then these moving averages will be lower. And then I think that the dominance actually won't even get that high anymore. So, but a bounce is kind of on the cards, and this little thing right here where it went from 57% to 59%, I don't think that that's really like the bounce that we were waiting for, but maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. But it's clearly not Bitcoin season anymore. So what season is it, right? Well, it is obviously ETH season. However, I do think, like I said, I don't know when, in one of the previous videos, that ETH is pausing right now, right? Ethereum had a huge run against Bitcoin and against the whole market, right? Especially if you look at the Ethereum dominance, it's sitting at huge resistance right now. And it has a pretty decent correction from that point. I think it could go back to around 12%, maybe 11 actually. But that money, where's it going now? Well, usually when we see Bitcoin correcting with 5%, alts tank with like 20. But that's not what's happening right now. It's because the money is going into ETH or into alts, right? If you look at altcoins on their Ethereum pair, they're still going up. I made a video here where I said like, hey, I'm converting my ETH into alts. Beautiful point, actually, right? They have a good run, and I think they can go a little higher still. We'll see how far they get, right? But it is, at the moment, I think ETH season on a pause, with now altcoins at their moment to shine, but not in the full alt season yet, right? And we can see that on this chart, altcoins on the Bitcoin pair, right? It's like not that you can say like, wow, full alt season. It's not this, right? It's so far this. But if you look at a couple things, you might feel like, okay, I get it. Altcoins on the Bitcoin pair, 3 green months in a row right now. Yeah, we haven't seen that for a long time. We broke above what was 2.5 years resistance right now. we are above the bull market support band. We are above and even retested the 50 weekly moving average. Time-wise, it lines up. So it is, for me, very clear, like, okay, if this is alt season, would make a lot of sense. If it isn't yet, then this is at least some kind of a start of it. And with alts, I know that a lot of people don't believe, but that's very normal at this stage of the market, because Bitcoin has showed people for like 3 years, like, hey, it's a Bitcoin run. And that makes people think like, wow, this is a Bitcoin only run. This cycle is only about No, this stage of the cycle was about Bitcoin, like it always is. And then it gets into alts. But, you cannot have an alt season when everybody believes that there will be an alt season. You need people at these low prices to say like, hey, this is not going to happen, so I'm going to sell. Therefore, the price is so low. And therefore, it takes so little to pump it, right? And that's the reason why you saw altcoins on the Bitcoin pair go up 45%, right? And you might feel like 45%, what's that? That's a lot. Against 110K Bitcoin, that's a lot, right? But without anyone actually being super euphoric about it, right? Because, to ratio, this is not a big pump yet. And that's pretty cool, because you can see that from these lows, these May, June lows, altcoins did have a good run, actually. Now, what is, in my opinion, a good, something good to look at? We have some altcoins that show we are strong. And we have some altcoins that show like, hey, we are not strong yet, but we could be. Let's talk about a couple of these. And I had a couple of people requested me to talk about this, Seedify, right? They said, yo, can you discuss Seedify? I mentioned Seedify a lot on my channel. One of my biggest holding, well, it was my biggest holding, and then this happened. So what happened? The bridge got hacked. Shit happens. Fucked up. I lost a good bunch of money on my Seedify bag. For me, luckily, my Seedify bag was free already. But still, losing money, it's not what you want, of course, right? Now, some people ask like, hey, time to get out? And I'm like, man, look at this chart. It pumped really hard. It pumped here, right? And here you want to, at the low, you want to say like, oh, time to get out. No, it's not how it works, right? But that depends on your beliefs, of course, right? Because do you think that a coin is dead because it's low? Yeah, if that's the case, then fine. Then you put your mind at ease. Then sell, and you won't have stress from that. You will also never make money with crypto. Little side note, but apart from that, there's no stress. But I don't believe that a coin is dead just because the price is low. Now, the hack, on the other hand, could be killing for projects, right? With Seedify in specific, it sucks, but Seedify is not the team that says like, well, we got hacked, we had a setback, so yeah, fuck it, we are out. They got help from CZ, from Binance, from ZachXBT, and things are looking a lot better right now. Personally, I bought quite some coins actually when it was really low, and it pumped pretty decently so far. But see, it's like, it's a setback, right? It's a setback. But how many projects got like hacked, like Ronin, whatever, but got like hacked, but recovered from it, right? A lot. And in my opinion, Seedify will be one of them, right? And maybe not, but I think they will. And this is not for me a reason to say like, hey, I'm out. I increase my bag and we'll see what happens, right? I love the project at $4, for example. Yeah, I can also love it at 20 cents, right? And again, you must understand that this has to do with faith and belief, right? Because if you hear at these prices, let's say the 10 cents, if you dare say like, oh, I'm out, fine. And it goes for every project, right? but that's fine. But then you were selling the lows, right? That will never make you money. If you, on the other hand, say like, wow, whatever the fuck happened that justifies the price going down, I'm a buy when it's low. You know how low the liquidity is here, how low the market cap, how easy it is to pump, right? Here at $2, it pumped with a 2x, more than a 2x, like it was nothing. What do you think happens at 10 cents with that liquidity? It could do it 10x like it's nothing, right? But, you know, that's how I'm looking at it. So for me, I'm just buy and see, like, it's fine. Other projects, though, that are looking great to buy at this specific moment, you know, I think that Joe is a really good one. And that's simply because Joe is deleting DEX on AVAX, and AVAX is showing lately like they have a lot of strength. Adoption is crazy. There is a lot of stuff going on for AVAX. It's actually crazy. And Joe generating the fees and distributing it to the holders. I think that this is fantastic, and it is really low at the moment. I can really try to talk about what you are gonna like. Right, I can really, I don't know, talk about hyperliquid, whatever the fuck, right? It's sitting really high. Yeah, let's buy. Nice, great. I really, you know, a lot of times that pays off, definitely. But I rather buy something very low that I believe in, right? And then there's no conviction. Then people are like, yo, why are you talking about this? This is really low. It hasn't been performing. I know it hasn't been performing. That's why I want to buy it right now. I don't want to buy something that has been performing, right? So, of course, it's high risk. Well, it's not even high risk. I mean, we're closer to a bottom than a top. It's just like, it's a long shot, maybe. But it's lower risk and higher reward. And so, that's just my approach. And if I get that there are a lot of people that don't like that approach, that may be like, hey, I'd rather buy something that's proving that it's performing and ride it until I can. But for me, honestly, I cannot look at an hypercycle, for it's just an example, right? Because this has been an incredible performance so far. But I cannot look at a hypercycle, for example, and say like, hey, I'm gonna buy it here. Right? I honestly do think that you will do fine with it. But for me, it's just like, I cannot. Like, where's the opportunity? Where's the discount? Where is the, like, and you could have said that here. To be honest, my mistake. I faded this, and maybe I'm still faded here. It could be, definitely. But I rather look at a coin that I feel like, hey, this is what I believe in, and this is now low. Right? And it takes a little bit more time, maybe. But with hypercycle, at this point, I'm like, I'm buying the top. Maybe I can get a 2x. I don't know. It's just like, it doesn't feel good for me, right? It just doesn't feel good for me. On the other hand, I do buy coins like ADA, right? Very boring, very old dino coin, I know. You know what else is boring? Bitcoin did a 8x. So stop thinking like, hey, this is boring, this doesn't do anything. It doesn't matter. Of course Cardano doesn't do shit. I know that. It didn't do anything in the last cycle as well when it did 100x. So I don't care. I really don't care if it does anything. I care if it makes me money. With what kind of coin it is, that should not matter, right? Like, if you make money with that coin or that coin, like, do you feel some kind of ethical, like, no, I cannot make money with that because I hate that? No, fuck that. Like, if you make money, you make money, right? And ADA happens to be a very strong coin. It doesn't get wrecked like that much. It does very well in the bull market. There's a lot of ways to go up. It's the highest cap meme coin, basically. So I kind of like it. Other coins that I think are on a good discount right now, like Joe, like I said, I'm making some good money with black, but I am not buying black. I will never buy black, let me tell you that. This coin is designed to go down, right? Until something changes at least. But, you know, the emissions on their platform are so huge that I cannot be the one that says, oh, let me buy it so thousands of people can dump millions of dollars on me daily. Like, no. But I will be one of these dumpers, though. So I'm mostly LP farming Black Super, the Black Super Pool. And I get around $60 a day worth of black tokens. Can you imagine me, a small fish in this whole big ocean of crypto, right? So I'm like, man, if I'm getting like already $60 a day, which is a lot actually, right? Can you imagine what people like the insiders, Elio himself, I don't know what they get. Thousands of dollars a day, if not more. And they're dumping that. So of course, again, this coin is designed to go down. But as long as it works, it works. And my whole black bag that I had, I've sold half of my super for black to go and farm that. That's free already. That goes very fast this way. That goes very fast this way. Other than that, I am not really buying anything right now. I'm looking at AVAX, for example. Like I said, this is a very, very strong coin. Let me remove everything right now. But this is a very strong one in the last couple of weeks. Has been performing very nicely. But to be honest, at this moment, I am just waiting to see what happens. It looks like they had some big resistance here, broke out, might be support. We'll see. I'm actually pretty happy that it went down a little bit because now AVAX is also back in my price range for the farming. And it wasn't at $36, so I'm okay with that for now. But I cannot look at, again, a hype cycle, at a Solana, right? Solana, for example, is nice when you buy it here, somewhere here, whatever. But here, I'm like, man, I don't know. Nobody knows what it will do, right? All I know is it had a run to all-time highs, made a slightly new high, and is now sitting in that area. That's nice. That's fine. That's great. But I'm not buying. Why would I buy now? This is the moment where you want to take profits. Why would I say to the profit takers like, oh, hey, you need some liquidity? Here you go. You need more? Sure, I'm going to buy it. No, I cannot do that. I really can't. So I'd rather buy things like a render. Right? And again, this is what might not make me popular. Right? Because a render, right, it has not been performing for the last 1.5 years. Right? So why would you buy that? Because it hasn't been performing, right? And therefore, I do think that these prices are great. It already showed like, hey, this has performed everything in this whole cycle so far. It's great, right? It went from $8.70, $8.70 to 27 cents in the bear market, right? So also it showed like, hey, even a high cap coin like Render, it can go down with 97% in a bear market. And I know that if something goes down 97%, you know, people say like, well, that's dead. It's dead. That's as dead as it could be, right? Yeah. And then it did a 50x, right? Well, I'm not buying into the 50x, but I do like to buy in a, you know, accumulation phase that, you know, has been holding for more than a year, right? So this whole area right here, this whole area, let me actually, this area, I think that, you know, this is pretty great, around $3, give or take. But apart from that, again, I'm not buying much at the moment. Because I'm happy with my cash crypto ratio. And also, if you look at the altcoin market, I showed you in the last video, so I want to wrap it up after this. This is the parallel channel that's been holding for this whole cycle so far, basically, right? And if you really go hard on the lows, right, where people really shit themselves, like they have stomach flu, right? that's where you want to buy. That's really where you want to go hard. Where people call you crazy, like, "Are you gonna buy? It's going down. It's going to." Da, 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 da. I had so many comments in April, right? Bitcoin going down to, "Bleh," and altcoins are dead. And no, it all bam went up. Of course, it went up, right? These are the prices. These are the levels where you really want to buy. What I really want to buy. Yeah, and now here around the middle, I'm just like not doing anything, right? At this bull market support band, 50 weekly moving average, right? That's maybe where you want to get in a little bit. And it showed you like it had a decent bounce from around the bull market support band. But for now, we have a long way to go down. I'm not saying that we will, but if we get there, you want to have some dry powder to be able to take advantage of that. Because let's be honest, when was that not a good buy? Right? So that's when you want to do that. And whenever we get to the stop right here, you want to offload a crap load of your coins, right? When everybody will call you crazy for selling, like, how can you sell? It's going up, euphoria, Altseason. Fine, good luck, I'm out, right? At least with a lot of money. Yeah, and again, we are now in the middle, so the best trade is no trade, in my opinion, right now. If you want to get on a call with me, though, to just maybe go a little bit of your portfolio, look at an exit strategy, see how your position is, not financial advice, but an extra set of eyes. Alpha Factory, there's a link in the pinned comment, also in the description. Do check it out, join. You can schedule a call with me every once a month or whatever, and we can go over that just to make yourself position really good for the rest of this market, but also for the coming bear market. Because I can tell you this much, if you are not going to make money this market, then you will have no money or even faith, or you don't even feel like joining in the next bear market, right? So you will also not make money in the next bull market. It's so important what you do right now, because one good cycle can make you rich. 2 compounded good cycles will make you retire for life, right? Like really, like that's all you need to do. And it should not be that complicated. It's not supposed to be easy, definitely not. Like Becker said as well, like if alts were that easy to hold, then they won't give you 20x's. And that's definitely true. But that's mostly because of emotions, right? So turn those off, really, please. Do yourself a favor. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.